Welcome back, everybody. It's Sarcasm Speaks. Jared and Bob here. Um, I got a opening rant, I suppose, that was fueled by our Twitter group that we have going here with between me, you, Jones, and Vinny. Um, now, there is no ill will towards Vinny at all in this, but he shared a tweet with our group. Um, and it was some guy named Mike Cadlick who works for EEI, WEEI, which is a local sports radio station here in Boston. It's not good. There's two radio stations in Boston. There's 98.5 The Sports Hub, and then there's WEEI. EEI, as it's commonly referred to around here, has uh, been awful for a really long time, and the Sports Hub is like exponentially better, like in the ratings, for a while now. But I didn't know that this guy Mike Cadlick worked for EI. So anyway, he posted a picture of um, Bleacher Report as like oh, here we go, we're going to project the NFL draft, right? And the third overall pick, because now that's set in stone, right? Because the regular season's over. Third overall pick, the Patriots select offensive tackle Joe Alt from Notre Dame, right? That's what he posts. And this other douchebag, Ken Laird, retweets Mike Cadlick, the original guy, and goes, "The Browns tried this. Joe Thomas went 48 and 128 in his career without a playoff experience, a playoff appearance, sorry." So this guy is an absolute moron, Ken Laird. The Browns tried this. Really? Okay. Well, the Browns also tried Baker Mayfield and Tim Couch, and it didn't work out with either of them.
Johnny Manziel.
And Johnny Manziel, while Joe Thomas was there. Joe Thomas was on the team and they drafted Johnny Manziel. Like I said, the Raiders tried with Jamarcus Russell. It didn't work. Right? You can go on and on down the list if you want to nitpick, right? Because so this douchebag Ken Laird, what he's insinuating is that you shouldn't draft a tackle with the third overall pick because Joe Thomas went 48 and 128 in his career with the Cleveland Browns. That's the dumbest shit that I've ever heard. And it's cherry picking for an argument. Like I just named three quarterbacks, two of which were actually on the Browns.
Brandon Weeden.
Brandon Weeden, there's another one. Brandon Weeden was also on the team with Joe Thomas. Like, I don't understand. Like, pick Jake Locker, EJ Manuel, your guy. Go Knowles. Like, all of these guys were top 10 drafted quarterbacks. Christian Ponder, well, I think Christian Ponder was 12, right? But Locker and EJ Manuel were in the top 10. Um, like I don't understand the idiocracy, the boboism, whatever you want to call it, of people in New England where, oh no, no, you don't want to draft a tackle. How's your team going to get any better if you draft a tackle? Well, it worked out pretty well for Jake Long, didn't it, in Miami? He had a pretty solid career, right? Like there's how do the Giants feel about Andrew Thomas? Pretty fucking good, right? He's one of the best tackles in the league right now. Like it's just not a sexy pick, right? It's what it comes down to. It's not sexy. Everyone wants the quarterback. They want Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Me personally, I do prefer Marvin Harrison Jr. If he is available at number 3, I think they should draft Marvin Harrison Jr., assuming that quarterbacks go one and two. Um, I think he's a once in a generation talent at wide receiver, and you don't pass that up, right? Um,
I'll do you one better. I'm gonna throw some names out there.
yeah,
Trey Lance, Sam Darnold,
yep.
Blake Bortles, Matt Ryan, Vince Young, Joey Harrington, Achilles Smith. Those are the third overall picks at quarterback since 1999.
Yeah.
The only person out of that group that you would take is Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan is a known loser.
Yes.
Now that could be the Atlanta, could be the Matt Ryan. I don't really know.
Right. Right. It's just
Now, it's not now the third overall pick is not a slam dunk either. So going back, like Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, they're too young to really assess.
right.
They're both on a upstart Texans team, so
Well, I
whatever.
think Will Anderson's going to win the defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, but there's also some defensive rookie of the years that were like quite good and then just kind of like
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think haha Clinton Dix might have won it his year or something.
maybe. Sean Merriman might have won.
Yeah.
Then if you start going back, Jeff Okuda, I don't even know where he's at right now. Like, I don't know if he's
Yeah.
still in the Lions.
No, he's not on. I know he's not on the Lions.
He's not on the Lions anymore. Okay, so there you have it.
They
So Jeff
trade. They
Okuda,
traded him. He might be on
probably
the
a bust.
Falcons.
That's a corner. Quinnen Williams, Solomon Thomas, Joey Bosa. I would take any of those three guys. They're all defense, but
Right.
whatever. Dante Fowler, kind of a one-trick pony. That's like a little bit of a tough one.
Yeah.
Like he's desirable, but he's only desirable as like a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Dion Jordan, absolute bust. Trent
Oh, that was
Richardson,
terrible.
absolute bust.
Yep.
Marcel Darius, Gerald McCoy. I would have taken any of those, either of those guys. Now,
Yeah.
looking back, it's like third overall. I don't know, but
Right.
you can only do what you can with the info you have at the time.
Right.
Uh, and then it gets a little gross. Tyson Jackson, a whole lot of nothing. Braylon Edwards, no. You mix in some quarter. Oh, Joe Thomas, I would take him 1,000 times.
Right.
Back to back was Larry Fitz, Andre Johnson. Skip over a quarterback, and then it's Gerard Warren, Chris Samuels. Couldn't even tell you who they are. Is Chris Samuels a tackle?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what is that? 2003, 2002?
That was 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was a lineman.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
six
mean,
five, 314. Yeah.
yeah.
So picking quarterback at 3 is not a slam dunk.
No.
And then it also ignores the idea that drafts from year to year are different.
Right.
This is a tackle heavy first round
Right.
where they all have like there's like 5 or 6 guys that have first round grades.
Right.
Like Jaden Daniels and Michael Penix do not have first round grades. And I
No.
think I'm missing a guy too.
JJ McCarthy.
Oh fuck, no way. Fuck that guy. No,
Yeah.
I mean like a legitimate guy that might actually be halfway decent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But like they don't have first round grades.
No, neither does Bo Nix.
But teams panic. It's the Christian Ponder situation.
Right.
And even Kenny Pickett to an extent.
Yeah.
Like Pittsburgh took him in the first round. It's like, was he really not going to be there in the second?
Right.
Um, no, I mean, I think it's not sexy, but I don't want Drake May under any circumstances.
No.
Fuck that
Nope.
guy.
I don't want any quarterback. I don't care because with the third overall pick, it's a no-win situation. Assuming Caleb Williams goes number 1 overall, there's questions around Caleb Williams, right? Like his character. And again, I'm not a big college football guy. I'm not a football analyst, but in the little bit that I've watched, I think he's 6'1" Kyler Murray. Right. And now someone might look at that and be like, that's really desirable. Kyler Murray is really good. Well,
No, he's
Kyler
not.
Murray can be good, right? He has flashes where he's good. But like if you ask me to describe Caleb Williams, I think he's a 6'1" Kyler Murray. If you think that's gonna be a good quarterback, an all-timer, go for it. But I don't. I think he'll be fine, right? Like Kyler Murray is a fine quarterback. He's probably, when he's healthy, a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. He might be number 12, but that's still like he's a top tier quarterback in the NFL. That's a fact, right? So if Caleb Williams,
The only thing is though, because I don't love Kyler Murray the way some people do. Top 12 is a lot closer to average than it is
Correct.
to
Yeah.
top
Oh,
five.
yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with that. Um, it's just all, is the glass half full or half empty, right? Oh, it's top 12. Oh, that's 3 spots away from Ted
Well,
Mill. Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, he's what, 2 steps above fucking Kenny Pickett
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, if he's standing on a
or Baker
ladder, he'll be
Mayfield.
he'll be
Is that,
2 steps above on a ladder.
yeah. I don't know.
um,
I mean, I think so. This is the thing. Like, I'm no NFL scout. I can't tell you if Caleb Williams is the guy or not. I can't. I don't. I can't do it.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to be the guy. In college he can't beat good teams. So this is very dumb, right? And this is why I'm not an NFL scout. But the way I look at some of these positions, right, in hindsight, it's you have the ability to look at these guys and be like, oh, yeah, no, obviously they weren't going to be good, right? Like if you told me that a USC quarterback, USC has the history, but lately they haven't put anybody out. Who's the last guy out of USC? Was Sam Darnold. He fucking blows.
Yeah, it was Darnold.
So it's not like the early
John David Booty.
2000s. Yeah, John David Booty. It's not like the early 2000s when you had like Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer, all that. Like, Mark Sanchez to a degree, right? Like he was a good college quarterback.
Matt
Um,
Barkley.
Matt Barkley. Um, but like, so yeah, so I look at the pedigree, the like the body, right? Like the body type, and kind of like how they did. So USC, yeah, sure. Like whatever. It's still Pac-12 football though. It's not like he's coming out of the Big 10 or the SEC. And he was never able to beat any good teams. So that's a red flag, right? Then you look at Drake May. He's
Oh
coming out
God,
of the he's in the
he's UNC.
ACC. He's an ACC quarterback who plays for the University of North Carolina. I
Who
don't
looks
give a
bad at
shit
times.
that he's 6'4", 225 and the prototypical size of a quarterback.
He looks bad at times
I do not
as
want a
UNC's
quarterback
quarterback.
from the ACC because the ACC sucks. It's terrible. It's gross. The ACC is not good. There's Clemson and occasionally there's Florida State, right? And then there's no one else. That's it. The ACC is Clemson and Florida State, and everything else is just a fucking trash bag. So do you want the guy from the ACC or the guy from the Pac-12 that can't play, right? Or that can't beat, like he can play, but he can't beat good teams? Like, no, I don't want either of those guys. Give
Well,
me the generational talent at wide receiver or a guy who's potentially going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame left tackle.
yeah, I would say a 12-year starter.
Yeah, that's it.
Um,
One of those like that is so much more desirable to me that because I think Marvin Harrison Jr. you can't miss, right? Like there is a probability that both Caleb Williams and Drake May will not be good, right? Trevor Lawrence has been in the league for 3 years now, and we still don't really know if he's good or not. Coming out of what division was he in college? Oh, the ACC, huh? Oh, but he won a national title. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Coming out of the ACC, he was dubbed the next Peyton Manning. Trevor Lawrence was he was the Super Bowl 54 MVP and
yeah,
all
he was the
he was anointed.
best quarterback ever.
Yeah, he was anointed the greatest quarterback of all time
It's weird though, the
before.
best quarterback ever. Only he didn't win a Heisman. He only won one national championship.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got all these guys, right? And it's like, I don't want a quarterback from the ACC. I don't particularly want a quarterback from the Pac-12 who can't beat good teams. And Jaden Daniels, who actually plays for a legit football team and a legit football conference, up until 4 weeks ago, was projected in the second round. So don't give me that guy at number 3 overall, because in October, you were like, oh, you draft him in the second round. He'll be there in the second round. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to take him 3rd overall. What's changed? Right? Like, what has changed in the last 6 weeks that a guy forever has been a second round talent, a second round quarterback? You're just going to take him 3rd overall because you want a
Oh,
quarterback?
dude, he won the Heisman.
It's like, it's wild. It blows my mind that these fucking idiots are just like, oh no, you have to draft a quarterback. Well, you're going to get a great quarterback. You don't know that. You know for a fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. will be an absolute stud. There is no question that he will
I don't think
not
he's
be
going to be
good.
at 3.
And that's he probably won't be.
I don't think he's going to
Well,
be there.
I don't know. He might be. It depends. It all depends on Chicago. Chicago has the ability to take him number one and keep Fields, or if they move on from Fields, they're going to take Caleb Williams. And then
So right
Drake,
now, I'll take Justin Fields over either of those guys.
absolutely. I would take Justin Fields over both of
And
them.
he has his flaws, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think I don't know. It's again, but this is the problem is like we're not draft people,
right,
right? So it's like I
right.
can't tell you if Caleb Williams is going to be good because he was pretty good as a freshman at Oklahoma.
Yeah,
And it's as a freshman taking over for Spencer Rattler with a team that was probably closer to like NFL caliber. Because if you think about like the quarterbacks that have come out lately, um, Herbert was an aberration because he's an Oregon quarterback. They're
yeah.
terrible.
He's the only one ever that's been good.
But he was good all 4 years. Like
Right,
that's the difference.
right.
Um,
Remember, I don't know if you
two,
remember when we
like
talked
two
about
had a
that
great
draft.
team.
When we talked about that draft with Justin
2020.
Herbert, when he went six overall, I remember this. I mentioned that the year prior or a year or two prior, whatever it was, they said if he went out, he was potentially going to be the number one overall pick.
Yeah, and then Burrow went on that tear, but
Yeah,
yeah, 2020 was oh no, 2020 was Burrow. He won in 2019. He won the national championship.
yeah,
Yeah, so it went Burrow to Herbert.
yeah.
But
But the year
anyway, like
before, there was talk
Burrow,
like if Herbert went early,
oh yeah,
he
he
would
would
have
have
been
been
the
number
number
one because it
one.
would have been Kyler Murray.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I mean, like he might be good. I don't know. This is the thing I don't know. Like it's will like I can't tell you will Caleb Williams be good. What I can tell you though is if you take Caleb Williams and put him on a team with no offensive line and
Right.
no skill at wide receiver and no tight ends, he's not going to be good. Period.
Right.
Done.
Look at Bryce Young.
Yeah, that's it.
Bryce Young has no
There you
offensive
have it.
line and no wide receivers.
Go Baker Mayfield in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And he had some things. Not a
Right.
lot, but he had
Right.
some.
Right. And everyone thought he sucked. And then he moved on to these other teams and did really well.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's not a number one overall draft pick, but what if Drake May ends up being Derek Carr, right?
Yeah,
Or
for third overall, no way.
like, no thanks. I don't want him. I don't care. Give me the future Hall of Fame wide receiver or the future Hall of Fame left tackle.
I'm all in on the tackle.
Yeah.
But if Harrison slips, you need to look at him.
No, you have to take him. If Marvin Harrison is there at number 3, you have to take him.
That's fine. But he will never be what he is supposed to be if he comes to this New England Patriots team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all depends on scheme and staff.
Yeah, they need to
I
find
mean,
fucking.
don't
They need
forget
to.
once upon a time, was it Billy O that had Randy Moss? And he set the fucking touchdown record.
That was Josh McDaniels.
No, that was Josh. It was
Yeah.
Billy O came in the next year.
Billy O would have come in when McDaniels went to
Denver.
Denver, 2009.
Yeah.
But that 2007 team had receivers.
Right.
First, they had they had two. Is Welker in the Hall of Fame? He should be. Maybe. I don't care that he dropped that one ball that one time. That guy
Yeah.
was fucking unstoppable when
Right.
he played.
Yeah. Yeah.
One all-time great, one probable Hall of Famer, debatable, fine, maybe. Gaffney, Stallworth, very
Right.
productive receivers at the time.
Right.
A first round tight end, a Hall of Fame running back. No, was Dylan still there in 2007? No, he was out.
No,
He was 04, 05,
he was
06.
there for
A
'04.
first round running back.
Is that the law firm in 2007?
No, Lawrence Maroney.
Oh,
And I don't know what their offensive line was,
but it
but
was really fucking good.
it was probably Matt Light,
I'll tell
Super
you in
Bowl
a
winner.
second.
It was probably Nick Kazir, also probably Super Bowl winner.
Yeah. So across the line, it was Matt Light, Logan Mankins, Dan
First
Copen,
rounder.
Steve Neal, and Nick Kazir.
Yeah, that's like a Super Bowl winning offensive line.
Yeah, that is insane.
Coached by
Right.
the best offensive line coach ever.
Right.
So, Randy Moss, yes. What he did was fucking incredible that year.
Yeah.
Randy Moss does not do that on last year's Patriots.
No. I
So,
mean,
you
look at what happened to Moss on the Raiders.
so that and that like if you're gonna take Marvin Harrison Jr. and you want him to be Marvin Harrison Jr., which would be great, you better have a fucking plan.
Yeah. No, I agree. And
And there's a lot of pieces that need to work out for that plan to work.
I think it's a legitimate possibility. If he's there, you take Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3, and then you draft your tackle in the second round.
You know
You
what?
go wide
So
receiver, tackle, and then you sign a veteran quarterback, right? Whether that's Baker Mayfield or Gardner Minshew or Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care. I like everyone's, oh, Jimmy. I don't care. Jimmy Garoppolo, if he was on this team, he'd be the best quarterback on the team.
go get Jameis.
Yeah, go get Jameis. I don't think he's going to leave New Orleans. I think he loves it there too much. He stayed there to be the backup. He signed like there were so many teams that would have given him a deal because I heard that he absolutely loves New Orleans, which
How can you not? It's the
yeah.
best place ever. Um, he is fucking phenomenal though. Plus, he's from Alabama. He went to school in Florida. Like, he ain't
Yeah.
coming up north.
No.
Fuck that.
No.
Plus, he's like older now. Like, why the fuck would he do that?
Yeah.
I don't even want to live up here. Um, you want to know what actually? So this is actually the correct strategy. It is the least sexy, least exciting one.
Yeah, you take Joe Alt, third
Nope.
overall.
Even less exciting.
You trade.
You move back to like 7.
Yeah. That honestly, if they do it right, I don't think that's a bad idea. If Marvin Harrison Jr. goes first or second, and then obviously one of the quarterbacks is there, I don't want the quarterback. I would be completely fine with say the Bears keep Fields and they take Marvin Harrison Jr. number 1 overall. Then you have who has the 2? Is it Arizona? No,
No,
Arizona has a 4.
Washington. It's Washington.
Washington. So then Washington takes Caleb Williams, right? Now Drake May is on the board.
I'm
I
fucking
think
done.
you can trade to, I don't know what the Raiders have. They might have 8. I think the Raiders have the 8th overall pick. Call up your boy who's over there, who's running the deal.
They both got
Oh,
fired.
Ziegler got fired.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Well,
Mark Davis might not pick up that phone.
yeah. um, but I think the Raiders definitely could use a quarterback, right? Like, make the call. I would not be mad if they traded back to 7 or 8 and drafted a tackle and got a first round pick next year out, like a future first round pick.
So here's another crackpot theory. You move into that like 7 to 9 range, and you take Malik Neighbors. I hope that's his first name.
Yeah.
Okay. You take Neighbors.
Yeah.
Ideally, you get a first next year and like something in the second round this year, which then jumps you back into the first round. You can grab like the 6th best tackle or something.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad move
Because
either.
then you walk out with both.
Right. You get a tackle and the wide receiver. Yeah,
So
because I mean, honestly, I'm not blown away with this quarterback draft.
no, I got no use for it. Although if Penix is around in the second round,
Yeah, take a
and
flyer. I'd take a
and
second round pick on Penix.
because he throws the best ball that I've seen
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
in college,
Yeah,
but he's older, he's hurt, he's
right,
whatever.
right.
Lefty.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also good with Bo Nix, who's been in fucking college for 8 years. He's Van Wilder. But I like, wasn't he at Alabama in like 2012? Like, oh no,
I
sorry,
want to
Auburn. He
play.
was at Auburn.
I want to say that he's played 3 or 4 years at Auburn and 2 years at Oregon.
Yeah. But so I mean, my thing that I said, like my rant or whatever, is kind of like I'm all set with people and their moronic takes, right? Like the whoever that guy was, I don't even remember his name, about like don't draft a tackle third overall. No, you're a moron. Like you take the bona fide player. Otherwise, you end up with the Dion Jordan, Blake Bortles, right? Blake Bortles was the third, wasn't that three quarterbacks in a row that year? Was it? Didn't it go
No, couldn't
like
have been. I think
Blake?
Clowney went number 1 that year.
Let's see, Blake Bortles was drafted in the 2014
I
draft.
bet Clowney was your first overall.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, it was. So it was Clowney, Greg Robinson, Blake Bortles. Gross.
I think Manziel went in that draft late.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel went 22nd. Yeah, that was a really bad quarterback year. Teddy Bridgewater went 32nd. Teddy Bridgewater was the best quarterback in the first round, and he went 32nd. Derek Carr went in the second round that year. So that's my point, right? Like in 2014, you had Johnny Manziel at 22nd overall and Blake Bortles third overall. But then with the 32nd pick, you had Teddy Bridgewater, who was better than both of them. And then Derek Carr, who was probably the best quarterback in the draft, went in the second round.
The other thing too is like going back to the original tweet where someone's like, "Well, the Browns tried this with Joe Thomas." Well, if I remember correctly, which I do, the Detroit Lions selected Charles Rogers, Roy Williams, Mike
Yes.
Williams, and Calvin Johnson,
Yeah.
all in the first round, all from the years 2002 to 2007. That much I know. And how did that work out for the Detroit Lions?
Yeah.
So even if Marvin Harrison is Calvin Johnson,
Right.
how did that work out for the Detroit Lions?
Yeah.
And 2 years later, they grabbed Matt Stafford. So they had the receiver, they had the quarterback, and they were still the fucking Detroit Lions.
Right.
This game's won in the fucking trenches. Figure
Yeah.
it the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, so needless to say, I think I will probably not be listening to any sports radio until fucking April. Whenever the draft is, like April 15th, I will not be listening to sports talk radio
I
until
stopped
April
listening. I stopped
16th.
listening 4 years ago because they had nothing to talk. Dude, it was the Cam Newton Patriots. They had nothing to talk about. There
Yeah.
was nothing. There was nothing redeeming to talk about with that team.
Yeah.
It's gotten worse.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to change my Twitter algorithm. I'm going to have to go to only the following and not
That's all
not
I
like the
use.
explore one,
That's all I use.
because I'm all set with fucking stupid Patriots takes. Um, let's see here. Talking about stupid takes and Massachusetts. um, this I saw this the other day. This is pretty interesting. So the Massachusetts state tax revenue hole widened in December. So we
Oh,
fell
I
more
have
into
notes. I
debt.
have notes on this.
Oh, okay, great. Great. Do you want me to run through the quick cliff notes for the
And
fans?
I'll stop you if I need to add to it.
Okay. So um I'll just this is from NBC Boston, right? Channel 10, good solid whatever channel, local guys. So it starts out here, state officials collected less in taxes than they expected for the sixth straight month in December, pulling the
0 for
year.
6. 0
Yeah.
for 6 in fiscal year 24.
Yep. Yep. So putting the year-to-date haul $750 million below projections as budget writers face a growing thicket of challenges. That's your opening sentence of this article. The Department of Revenue announced Thursday that it brought in I'm going to round up, $3.78 billion in December, which is not only 138 million or 3.5% below the monthly benchmark estimate, but also 82 million or 2.1% less than what the state collected in December of 2022. So there's a lot of numbers, a lot of stuff going on there. The straightforward is they collected, we'll call it 3.8. We'll make the number even smaller. They included 3 decimal places, which is dumb. So $3.8 billion in December, which is not only 3.5% lower than what they planned for, but it's 2.1% lower than what they collected in the same month last year. Um, Halfway through fiscal year 2024, the state has now brought in 796 million or 4.1% less than the projections used to craft an annual budget featuring steep spending increases. Tax revenue has increased a hair compared to the same point 1 year ago, up 60 million, 0.3%, but the limited revenue growth is not lined up with expectations or Beacon Hill's appetite for spending. So it goes on and on. It says, budget experts are now 0 for 6 predicting monthly tax revenues. Um, Governor Maura Healey told the news that she was not considering unilateral budget cuts known as 9C cuts because of the section of the law that gives the governor that authority. At the time, the actual state revenues had come in a cumulative 4.3% less than the estimates used to craft the record $56 billion annual budget for fiscal year 2024. So the largest annual budget projection in Massachusetts history at $56 billion. And we are not collecting enough money to cover that budget. I'll lay it
Uh,
on. The article goes on and way more. Like, I'm not
yeah.
going to read the whole thing.
So the nice thing too is they have to submit the 2025 budget
Yeah, I
in
saw that.
one week from today. Now
Yes.
we're recording a little early, but the 15th of January, the
Yeah.
2025 budget needs to be in. Guaranteed they ask for more money or they plan to spend more money.
Oh, yeah.
So I did keep, or I wrote down a couple notes for a little bit more in-depth stuff. Now, withheld income tax, so just income tax revenue, like normal, is actually up. Not by much, but it's up $60 million this year.
Right.
Where this is coming from is what they consider all other tax, which fluctuates. It's mostly estate taxes. Like you can't really plan for that.
Right.
Sales and use tax. One would surmise that people are spending less money in the state.
Right.
Okay. Corporate and business tax. That's less. So you either have less businesses paying taxes in the state, or you have businesses making less money, thus owing less in tax.
Right.
Now, if you think about that, both of those two would imply that people are spending less money in the state, or people are spending the same amount of money, but there's less people in the state. Because
Right.
this also coincides with some news that I don't know how many people have
Massachusetts,
left.
Massachusetts is one of the highest, has one of the highest numbers in the country of people that are leaving the state.
Yep.
It's, I think California is number one, New York is number two. I forget what number three is, but I think Massachusetts was like number 4 or 5 on the list of states that where people are moving out of.
Now, I don't know what it says that tax revenues up. The tax rate didn't go up. So I guess you have the same amount of people working in the state, but maybe not enough people living. I don't know. So I don't know how that
Yeah,
like I don't know how that all works. But I do know that the businesses, so it was business, corporate business, sales and use, those were the two big ones. And then also non-withheld income tax. So you can probably figure that one out. What non-withheld income tax is the people who pay estimates. I pay estimates because I'm not technically like a W-2 employee at
right.
work. Now, I'm not sure what other types of people are subject to non-withheld income tax, but that's business owners. Now, because of my tax structure, my business does not um, pay corporate or business taxes. We pay estimates because it's a pass-through entity and that's like legal code, whatever. So the non-withheld income tax comes down to business again. In most cases, I assume. Now
Right.
I'm no CPA, so I couldn't tell you all the types of non-withheld income tax. It's got to be mostly business owners, which would imply that they're either not making as much money or they're whatever. So the estimates are lower and there were increases in refunds that they weren't accounting for. And all of this is the cherry on top. All of this is after a calendar year or a fiscal year where they collected too much money. They had to give
Yeah.
it back to us.
Yeah.
They collected so much that they had to give it back, and now they can't fucking figure it out.
Yeah. And never mind, we also have a new gambling tax and a relatively new marijuana tax, right? Like weed's been only been legal for probably like 3 years to collect off sales tax, and gambling was just put in last year.
Yep.
So they have all of this revenue or new revenue streams, and they still can't fucking make figure it out.
Yeah, it's because the old revenue streams aren't working.
Yeah.
Yes, because you would figure corporate business taxes, those are all new entities. Well, it should increase.
Right.
Well, not if the other companies are leaving, or not if other companies are leaving. Same with sales and use. It's like, well, sales and use should go up because of gambling and weed. All right, well, it's lower.
Right.
People aren't spending as much money in the state.
Yeah.
And again, whether that's
Well, I think
each
some of that
individual,
is because
people
people are
leaving.
moving out. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're leaving. So I
because I
just
don't
saw
see.
this thing. It's over 3 years, but since COVID, Massachusetts has lost their population. Total population has declined. 110 over 110,000 people have left the state in the last 3 years, and in 2023 alone, um, I just saw the number, but they listed it as households. It's like 15 and a half thousand households were were vacated in Massachusetts last year. They were number 5. I found the list. So California was number 1, then New York, then it was Illinois, Pennsylvania, and then Massachusetts. So almost 16,000 households were vacated in Massachusetts in 2023 alone, and over 110,000 people since COVID.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, but can't make the budget work after projecting the largest budget ever in history.
And missing it by 4% so far.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Not great.
Not ideal. Maybe they should cut some fucking jobs, right? I mean,
Oh no, no,
obviously
no.
you never want to wish for people to lose their jobs, but also at the same time, like fuck the government, right? Like uh, do you really need a fucking a DEI czar in the government? No, you don't. You don't. Right. So is actually interesting. I sent it to our Twitter group um earlier this morning that I think it was BlackRock just announced massive layoffs. And I think it was like 60% of the layoffs were in their ESG department. So for anyone that doesn't know,
Oh,
that's your
what does that stand for?
environmental and social governance. So that's your like DEI stuff, right? Like that's your like social score, basically, right? So the department of BlackRock that has to do with like a social score or like, how are you doing diversity wise? They're laying off like 60% of that department.
You know why? Because those departments don't generate any revenue.
Correct. And
There's only
also,
so long you can have bullshit positions that don't generate revenue.
and also I think the tide is starting to turn on that whole um thing, right? Like it happens all the time, right? Like you go back and forth and you do the thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, the pendulum swings one way and the other," but also people just get sick of the bullshit, right? Like, if you go back before this is pre-pandemic, right? You go back to the Me Too stuff back in 2015, right? Like when it first started, everyone was like, all right, cool, this is good, right? Like we need to protect women, you know, fuck all these people that would abuse women and use their power to do like gross, disgusting things. Like Harvey Weinstein was a fucking douchebag, like he's a real piece of shit. Like all these people, right?
Keep your train of thought. But did someone tell me he did not do those things?
Uh,
Did you
I
hear that?
No, I
I'll
have not
fact
heard
check.
that. He for sure did all those things.
Okay.
Um, he he was in jail because of it. But so anyway, um, then right, so everyone's like, yeah, 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 this is cool. Like this is a good movement. Like Me Too, all this stuff. Then they went after Louis C.K. for jerking off in front of people, and some people were like, yeah, that's not cool, but like, do we need to cancel on whatever? And then the movement was like, no, we're doing it. We got power. Yeah, this is what we're doing. And then they went after Aziz Ansari, right? And I'm using like individual people, but there were plenty more. I'm just using the big ones that made a big impact. And then once it got to Aziz Ansari, which was like basically just an awkward date, that's when people were like, all right, enough is enough. Like you still had the zealots that were like, yeah, like women power, like we're gonna fucking march and wear pussy hats and do all this stuff and down with men and all that stuff. You're gonna have all that. But all the people like in the middle that were supporting were like, yeah, we're done with this. We're done. You took it too far. You ruined it, right? It's like you've ruined the joke, right? It's like when you have someone that one unfunny person that takes a joke and just brings it too far, and you're like, now it's not funny anymore. Like, they took the Me Too movement too far, and like, all right, now you're not. It's not what it used to be. And then that's I think what's going on right now. I mean, it is. We saw what happened to Bud Light and Target, right? With the whole like the transgender LGBTQA plus whatever, and it's like yeah, I would for sure support them. And if you want me to, whatever you want me to call you, I'll call you. But then they started pushing it too far, right? Then they're forcing people to like use pronouns. And if you misgender me, you're a bigot. And if you don't let me, you know, uh, bring your kid to a drag show, you're a bigot. You just hate people. And it's like, no, I don't need a 3-year-old to go to a drag show. Right? Like so it gets to the point where like the reasonable people step in and like, yeah, I'm done with this shit. Right. And I think that's where we are. And I think obviously BlackRock has started to realize that or pick up on that trend and be like, oh, yeah, that ESG department that we have, yeah, we got to make some cuts. So we're going to cut 60% of that department, right? Like they can save face by saying, well, we still have it, but we just, tough times, we had to lay someone off. And to your point, they don't generate revenue. So they're the ones to go.
Yeah, they don't make money or save money, so you're out.
Right. Right. All they do is give fucking social scores to businesses across the country. Like that's literally what it is. Like, what's your ESG score? And then depending on your ESG score, determines how much money you'll get from BlackRock or how much money they'll be able to manage for you or things like that. It's all tied to this environmental social governance bullshit, which again, I think we're getting closer to the yeah, you took it too far. We're done with this, right? Like that's what it takes. It takes the reasonable people to step up and be reasonable and just walk away. And then eventually it goes away until inevitably the next thing, right? Because I just named 3 things like between Me Too and the ESG thing and the LGBT, A plus trans thing, right? Like that's 3 things I just named off the top of my head. So there's going to be something next, right? That people are going to take and they're going to take it too far because there always is. But, you know, it's just one of those things that it's kind of nice to see that we're potentially moving away from the lunacy there, right? And if you want to be a glass half empty kind of guy, it's, well, what's the next thing there's going to be the lunacy about? So we'll see, I suppose. But
First, I can't wait for the next thing.
like I have no idea what it could even potentially be, right? I mean,
Well, that's the
something
best part.
political.
That's why I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be something fucking dumb too, as it always is. But uh shit, what else do we got here? Anything else or you want to wrap this up? Do you want to talk about the Jonathan Major stuff? I mean, we kind of did a little bit, but do you want to
Oh, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, long story short, he was convicted of, I don't know that, I'm just gonna say he was convicted of some of his charges because I don't know which ones he was convicted of and which ones he wasn't. And they're all sexual assault. So
yeah.
in some way, shape, or form. Which obviously that's shitty. Like you're a piece of shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's all I have to say about that. That's not why I put him on there because I don't really like you suck. But our friends at Marvel,
Yeah.
they fired him. He's
Yep.
out.
Yep, he's gone.
So now their options are to either recast Kang
Which I think
or
they
kind of
should do.
I think they should as well. Actually, I think was it Black Twitter? The first roadie that
Yeah, they
got
did.
replaced.
Yeah. They changed Rhodey and they never even batted an eye at it.
Yeah. They want him back.
Terrence
The first
Howard.
one. Yes. Do
Yeah.
him a solid.
Yeah. Do him a solid, bring him back as
Yeah, because
Kang.
you cut him out, make him Kang.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if he was Kang in anything or like why they said that. I don't know. But again, because I don't know all of the Marvel stuff.
They
Just
recast Cassie Lang. What's Paul Rudd's daughter from
yeah.
Ant-Man? They recasted her.
I mean, yeah, again, it like this is the thing. They have the multiverse. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it's a built-in excuse to do whatever the fuck
easy.
you want.
Yeah, it's like
It's
except instead of you're doing the opposite of landfill.
yeah,
Instead of killing landfill and replacing with the same person, you're taking you're replacing the same character with a different person.
yeah, yeah,
So you could keep it, or Doctor Doom could be in the fold.
yeah,
I mean, I think we've said it before. Like Doctor Doom is number one villain as rated by God knows what,
yeah.
and nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he was in that one shitty Fantastic Four movie played by
Chris Evans.
what was the guy's name?
I don't know. I don't know who the actor was.
Julian. It's Julian something. He was Cole in Charmed. He was like the demon that became friends with the girls in Charmed, the sisters. And then I think he was also in Nip Tuck. I never watched that show, but I know it was popular.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, all I was looking at with that was I am
Julian
curious.
McMahon. That's his name. Julian
I,
McMahon.
I am curious as to what they'll do. Like you just finally set up
Yeah.
a villain. We're here. We know there's other variants of him.
Yep.
They could look like anything.
Yeah.
I really hope that they go down the road and just recast.
Yeah. Because
We're gonna
we're
pivot again.
we're too far in. That I
Like,
that I mean, this could be my Netflix and everything a cyclical moment, but if they pivot this far in, this could be the death of Marvel.
yeah, I think
Like it could be the nail in the coffin because people, I know we were early shit talking
right.
Marvel, saying that it wasn't good, that it was gonna. We've been calling for Marvel's demise for a long time, and now it's finally happening. But
Mm, maybe.
yeah, well, people are souring, right? They're souring on
Well,
Marvel,
and yes, the
and if they
TV series
change,
have been canceled, and
yeah,
they committed to doing less, which I agree with because I fell asleep watching Secret Invasion.
yeah.
So
But if
fucking
they
average.
change this now, like if they don't recast Kang and they take it in a different direction this far in, now that he's been so involved, this could be the nail in the
The
coffin.
only way I could see you doing it is you almost. So I'm not exactly sure how you do it. You need to like opening scene is Doctor Doom like I'm here and I'm fucking taking over. Like he kills the Kangs or I don't know how you kill a fucking variant. Work with me here, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So like that's the opening scene. It's like him slitting the guy's fucking throat, which I don't know how fucking Doctor Doom kills anybody, but it's whatever.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, so this movie, we fucking know what we're getting. Like this guy's a badass.
right.
And you probably then need to move to like, okay, a little bit of intro here, blah, blah, blah. And then you almost need like the fucking Joker's entrance in The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
Like something that's gonna stick. And I don't know if it's fucking I don't know who's up next for a movie, but um actually I literally don't know who's up for a movie. So I don't even know what would make any damn sense. Let me just make shit up then. Let's say we're getting the second Shang-Chi, right?
yeah,
And we have the opening scene, Doctor Doom takes out Kang. Now this doesn't make any fucking sense, but that's fine. And we see that. And you come back and, reintroduce Aquafina and Sean. I don't remember their character name. Well, obviously Shang-Chi, but um I don't remember her name. Doesn't matter.
yeah. I don't. Simu Lu, I think is his name.
No, like Aquafina's like character name. But anyway,
Oh, I thought you were looking for Shang-Chi's real name.
Sean.
Um, you changed your name from Shang to Sean.
And actually, there's a commercial for Echo showing up right now. That could be good.
Yeah, that comes out tomorrow.
That could be good. We'll see.
Yeah.
He's not Doctor Doom, but he could do something. Anyway, um, reintroduce them, blah blah blah, and then flash to Wong, and then all of a sudden Doom shows up, kills Wong, like done.
Right.
And it's like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
like this dude's here, and he is fucking like it's go
Yeah.
time.
So they've done it. I just looked up um famous actors that have been recast in movies. They've done it quite a bit, and things have gone off basically without a hitch. They recast Rachel Dawes in
Yeah,
Batman. It went from
yes,
Katie
Maggie
Holmes to
Gyllenhaal,
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
fucking downgrade
No one,
there.
yeah, I know, right?
She was not a good
No,
actress at all.
but no one batted an eye. They were like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, we're just moving on. The next on this list is War Machine with Don Cheadle. um, then I didn't know this, but apparently Emperor Palpatine was recast.
Oh yeah, but that's some fucking old guy.
Yeah. So I didn't know that, but they did that. Um, the female in the Mummy, they recasted her for one of the sequels. That I don't count that one as much because they did like seven fucking sequels. Um, this says this one of the sisters from Halloween Town. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen the second Halloween Town.
Gives a shit.
But then in Marvel, the Hulk.
Yep.
They recasted the Hulk three times in like 6 years. They went from Eric Bana to Ed Norton to Mark Ruffalo and just like pretended like it was no big deal, right? Like it's, oh yeah, we're moving on. Another massive franchise was Twilight. They recast Victoria, who was the redheaded chick from there. Um, Harry Potter did it very unfamously with, or infamously, I guess you would say, with Johnny Depp. When Johnny Depp was going through his whole thing with Amber Heard, Warner Brothers fired him and they recast him with Mads Mikkelsen for Grindelwald, and it
Yeah.
ended
So
up
this isn't.
it ended up that one actually ended up killing the franchise because, but that was a misstep on Warner Brothers' part because they didn't wait for the trial to end, because by the end of the trial, Johnny Depp was exonerated. He looked like the good one coming out of it, and he actually got his job back with Disney to do Pirates of the Caribbean because he got fired from everything.
Yep.
And then Disney brought him back for another Pirates, and it was already too late for Warner Brothers to do anything about Harry Potter. And I think fans were so mad about that that they just didn't go see the movie, and the movie flopped. And now I don't think they're gonna do any more Fantastic Beasts because of it. So Warner Brothers shot themselves in the foot there on that one. But this is a good one that I forgot about, was Sabretooth in X-Men. Um, they had some random dude. It says in the original film it was Tyler Mane, but when they did the Wolverine origin, it was Liev Schreiber. So they just recast that.
I guess you don't
Um,
think this will be all that hard to recast Kang.
yeah, Jack Ryan in Patriot Games. I never saw any of those movies, but it was Harrison Ford. Um, Clarice, I didn't know they recast Clarice in Hannibal. I probably haven't seen that movie in fucking 25 years. And then again, Harry Potter did it. Um, I guess more famously, but out of necessity, when Dumbledore died. The guy that played Dumbledore in the first two movies died, so they recast him for three through seven. So like it's been done. You could just recast. Like it's fine. And it's not like they're gonna make the mistake that Warner Brothers did because Jonathan Majors was
Don't get
guilty.
convicted. Yeah,
He
he's
was
guilty.
yeah, he's a confirmed a piece of shit, right? It's not Johnny Depp. So yeah, I say just recast him.
What is next? Now that's like all I can think about. Oh, I'm gonna look it up fast.
Yeah. See if you can beat me. I'm gonna look it up too. The Marvel timeline. Release? Release schedule. MCU schedule. Echo, January 9th. Madam Web is next in February. Oh,
Oh,
God. Is that going to
dude,
be a movie? Yeah, it is.
hold on.
I don't think that's going to be very good.
Deadpool's next.
Oh, yeah, Deadpool 3.
And then Captain America.
Yeah, Deadpool 3 in July. Craven the Hunter in October. That one could be pretty good.
Is that a movie or a show?
Um, it says exclusively in movie theaters, so I think it's a movie.
Oh,
Russell Crowe is in that.
making movies, making songs, and fighting around the world.
Agatha the Darkhold Diaries. I think that one could be pretty good.
I think that's going to be a show.
Yeah, that is a show. But I mean, I thought Catherine Hahn did pretty good in WandaVision.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to have. Well, I guess she came back in multiverse, but I wish that like amounted to some. I don't know. I just wish it all amounted to something. Like,
Oh,
give me something linear. I don't know
Daredevil.
why.
Daredevil comes out January of 2025.
That might be a show though.
Um, yeah, potentially. It doesn't say, but yeah, Captain America: Brave New World is a movie, I think.
I think there's only
That's
two movies coming out next year, or there's only two
that's
movies
that's
scheduled for next
25.
year.
Yeah. So,
Wait, you saw that for 25?
yeah.
Maybe my source wasn't very good.
I got this from mcuschedule.com.
I used Wikipedia.
Oh, big surprise. They're doing another Fantastic Four in 2025. This will be the third iteration in the last like 15 years.
Hey, it took three for Spider-Man to be good, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Toby was good.
What?
You didn't think Toby Maguire was good as Spider-Man?
No,
He gets a lot of flack because Spider-Man 3 was so bad, but I think his first one was pretty good.
I bet if we went back and watched, it wouldn't hold up.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. But I think I remember the first one being good. But I mean, they got progressively worse. The second one was not as good, and the third one was just terrible.
Which is too bad because you had Venom.
Yeah, they botched Venom in that movie. He became emo. Like he was emo Toby Maguire. It was just dumb.
Yeah, it
Because
was
he
weird.
wasn't actually Venom. He just had like a black suit on. It was weird. It was dumb.
He
Toby's
just looked
third
like he
movie was
just looked
dumb.
like the lead singer of My Chemical
Yeah,
Romance.
yeah. It's just that was just a bad
Which that
movie.
was also a weird time in like society too.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3, The Black Parade.
Yeah.
Weird, weird thing.
Yeah. Um, all right. You want to wrap this bitch up?
We can wrap this up.
All right.
I'm gonna save the one that I've got on the sheet. So my week last week, not even remotely stressful. So Tuesday, I discover half the HVAC isn't working, so that's one unit. The other unit works, so whatever, we're fine. Just not shit I want to deal with.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
Wednesday, 7:50 at night. Group ends at 8:15. I like to promptly leave at about 8:16. 7:50, one of the kids comes up to me and goes, "Hey, dude, there's like a massive clog in one of the toilets." Great.
Sick.
So go in there. Correct. And it's not just someone flushed some paper towels that they weren't supposed to flush. It's fucking clogged. So 7:50 at night, using the plunger, and I'm like, this thing ain't plunging. And frankly, I'm like, if the plunger doesn't plunge, what actually am I supposed to do about this?
Right. Right.
So sitting there, and I'm like, well, Tom's coming in the morning. Tom's a plumber. So that morning, he comes in, he goes, yep, that thing's clogged up pretty good. He goes, I can't plunge that. I go, although I'm not thrilled about this situation, I go, I am happy that it's not me
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
couldn't use the plunger because I was getting concerned for a second.
Right.
It's the damage. He goes, I'm gonna have to run to the shop and get a snake. Like, all right. So he runs down, gets a snake. Now Tom's also 80 years old, so as bad as I feel, he was gonna get the job done. So he goes, all right, I'm gonna need to get a longer snake. I'm like, fuck
Oh,
me. What
Jesus.
the fuck happened in here?
Yeah.
So he goes, I'm like, he goes, it flushes, but I don't know. I'm like, so piss only? He goes, yeah, probably. He goes, I wouldn't flush anything down that thing. Okay, no problem. I go, I'm here tomorrow, like starting at 5:45. So like, whatever, if you want to come back. He goes, yeah, I just gotta go to the shop, get a longer one. So I don't know what time it was on Friday. No, so that was the rest of Thursday. Yeah, I just closed the bathroom off, like close it off. I did go in there and kind of clean up. Fine. Like it's what you think it is, but like fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Friday, I'm like sitting there. I'm like, I'm not gonna like bother Tom, but like, when the fuck is he coming? Because he shows
Yeah.
up at the gym for to train for 6 o'clock at fucking
At
three
like four.
45.
Yeah.
Whatever. So then he comes in 10, 11. He's got a snake and a plunger. He goes, you can have these. I go, thanks, Tom. I go, is that bathroom all good? He goes, yeah, I think so. Why? I go, I thought yesterday you said you needed to come back with a longer snake. I go, I've been flushing it, but I haven't flushed anything down it. He goes, oh, if you've been flushing it, it's probably okay. Let's go throw some shit down there. Okay. So we throw some paper towel or toilet paper down. It goes. He goes, you ever use one of these things? I go, no. I go, I have a drum snake that I use for drains around here, but not the toilet one.
Right.
Pretty straightforward, same technology.
Yeah.
So he throws it down there. He's like, yeah, pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I go, yeah. He goes, you can keep that. I'm like, okay. So we're good. Um, so whatever. I settle that with him. Now we have materials that we need. So hopefully I never have to use it, but
Right. Right.
who fucking knows?
Yeah.
So that afternoon, I have the group, and the kid who discovered the clog was there. So I'm like, oh, hey, I go, took care of the clog, 2-day process. He goes, yeah, that looked kind of nasty when I went in there. I'm like, every bit of it. Like it's nastier than I even thought. I go, guy, he goes, what'd you do? I go, well, I asked a plumber. He had to go get a snake, whatever. Another kid in the group, 13 years old, stops, goes, might have a stupid question. I go, might have a stupid answer. He goes, he didn't go and get like a real snake, did he? No, no, he did not.
Yeah, they make there's a special kind of snake that you go from
Yeah,
the
it's a
pet
shit-eating
store.
python.
Yeah, it just goes down toilets. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, so he came back with a shit-eating python
It's an
and a
aquatic
tampon-eating
snake.
rattler.
Yeah.
And he tried the shit-eating python, and that one didn't come back full. So we knew it wasn't that. So we put the tampon eating rattler down there, and that thing came back with a big fucking knob in its neck. So then we knew we were clear.
Yeah. Ah.
I looked right back at him. I go, Brady, that was not a good question, dude. I was just thinking. He goes, I didn't think it would make any sense. I go, here's a lesson. If you think it is doesn't make any sense, just let it go,
Yeah,
dude.
probably doesn't. Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty good. Um, yeah, that's solid. So I'm also going to save my other final thought. I was hoping Jones was going to be on tonight, but with the quick schedule change, he's unable to make it. So I'm going to try and save this other thought from when Jones is on. So I'm going to pivot. And one of the stories that I read on Roca today, and shout out to those guys. If you haven't signed up for them by now, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I think I talk about them every episode. Um, but they said that the Telegraph, which is a UK based publication, so the Telegraph found that the rate of lab accidents involving biological agents has increased 50% since before the pandemic. So from January 2010 to December 2019, there were around 28 lab accidents per year. Since January of 2020, there have been around 42 annually. So again, basically doubled. Incidents, like quotes, incidents are defined as a lab worker potentially dropping plates of bacteria responsible for tuberculosis, or a worker pricking themselves with a needle used to infect mice with things. Like they're lab accidents, right? It's a potential exposure to some sort of thing, right? So I thought it was interesting that I'm reading it, and it's classic, like one staring you right in the face. 28 lab incidents for a year from 20, what did I say, 2010 to 2019, and since 2020 there's been 42. No way. All that is now they're actually getting reported, because people got so fucking scared of what happened with COVID. They were like, oh, I have to report this incident. Like, I can't be the one dickhead that causes a global pandemic because I didn't report that I dropped the fucking petri dish in the lab, right? Like that's what it is. Like there hasn't been actually a 50% increase of lab accidents. It's just people are now going to report them, or they weren't reporting them before. Like I think that's hilarious.
It's just how reporting works.
Yeah, like people are more sensitive now because we just spent, like I said, the better part of the last 3 years dealing with a stupid virus that isn't even that bad.
If someone dies on a construction site, what do you think is immediately going to happen with safety reports for
Oh
the
yeah,
next 24
yeah,
months?
yeah. There's going to be a ridiculous amount of safety
Crazy,
reports. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Because no one's going to want to fuck up just by
right,
like not following procedure.
right, right. Like think about like I don't know, you fucking step on a nail, but you got lucky and it went through your boot and it didn't touch any of your toes. Like it went right in between your big toe and your first toe. Are you going to report that? No. But like if someone just died in the construction site, you're probably like, yeah, I got to report that. I got to report. You know what I mean? Like people are just more cognizant of reporting things when there's a bad accident. So I think I just thought that was hilarious when I saw that. And I was like, there hasn't been more. There's been the same amount the whole time. People are actually just admitting to it now.
It's all biological warfare. They're having more
Yeah,
accidents on
yeah,
purpose.
yeah. Which is hilarious because I was talking to, like, one of the women that I work with. We were at a pharmaceutical company in Cambridge, and we were just talking, and like somehow like the whole like COVID thing came up and all that stuff. Like we were joking about it or whatever, because we go in and out of these labs. Oh, we were talking about, because like there's warnings on the doors that tell you like what's in each lab, and like some of them are like, you know, fucking tuberculosis or like, RSV or influenza virus or whatever they're doing in the labs at the time. And I made the comment like, it's funny that people think there's like this elaborate fucking beginning to COVID and the COVID-19 pandemic and all that stuff. And I go, ever since I've had this job and I'm going in and out of labs all the time, like it's become so obvious to me that it was just a mistake, right? Like some poor bastard at the Wuhan lab had a petri dish of this COVID-19 strain, dropped it. The guy probably thought he cleaned up the area, didn't, stepped on it, took it home, and then that's how the pandemic started, right? Like
How does
that's all
the
it
wet
was.
market fit into this situation?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I go,
Did he buy
like,
the bat?
idiots like and I said idiots like me, right? And people like us walk in and out of these labs all the time, right? Like, and we travel and we go all these places. Like, all it takes is like one person who doesn't work in that lab every day to like step on something that didn't get cleaned effectively. And now you're tracking that everywhere. And the woman actually, her sister is a biologist who works in a lab. And she was like, yeah, that's the exact reason why, like, when I talked to my sister, she leaves a pair of shoes at work. She will only wear one pair of shoes at work, and then she changes her shoes when she goes home. And she goes, those shoes stay there because of all like the whatever, bacteria and viruses she works on as a scientist. She's like, yeah, that shit happens all the time. It's just all funny how it's all related, and people always think that there's like some elaborate like nefarious thing going on
That wet
when
market, man.
yeah, yeah. So that's gonna do it for us. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe up above, hit the like button down below. Subscribe wherever you are listening. If you're an audio only guy, if you use Apple or Spotify, go and leave us a review. That helps us mightily, helps new people find the show. We can also get people to find the show by you talking about it. So you should all tell one person. If everybody tells one person, we'll be bigger than Joe Rogan by like fucking March. Um, but yeah, just do it. Why not? You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to the merch store, buy some merch, and also support all the sponsors in the show. I keep saying I mean to lead with them with all these episodes, but I keep forgetting. New sponsor, Element at drinkelement.com. Use that promo code below, and that will get you a free sample pack over there. So good stuff. That I believe is going to do it for us. So until next time, good night, everybody.